Okay, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the online channel of the Commonwealth Club. This is a place where you can learn how to access, how to obtain, how to retain, and multiply godly wealth in this season. So, if you are interested in becoming super wealthy without corruption, without theft, without cultism or rituals, this is your academy. My name is Muiwa Afolabi. I'm a business coach, a teacher of the word, and a social reformer. Welcome to Transformation. So, we being aware and in response to the very challenging economic environment. Now, this is an announcement before I go into the teaching. The economic environment, especially in Nigeria right now, is really, really tough. It's pretty tough. There's hyperinflation and escalating prices of goods and services. The Commonwealth Club, in partnership with Africa Transformation Network, that's a Pan-African NGO concerned with supporting and helping Africans both in Africa and outside of Africa with the mindset and the capability for good productivity. Yeah, that's what Africa Transformation Network is about, has put in place a financial support scheme, right, that will help you preserve and even multiply the value of your funds for up to 300% in record time. Now, it is not an investment. Yeah, it is not an investment, and it is not a loan facility. It's not an investment, it's not a loan facility. It is a support scheme you can easily subscribe to, like so many people have already done that. And we will help you tidy up your future bills and unexpected expenses through this collaboration. So you need not be a victim of the intense hard times or be afraid of your future financial situation. So for inquiries on how we can support you at this time, simply send Commonwealth, the word Commonwealth, via WhatsApp to 0802 569 6670. 0802 569 6670, and we'll share with you the details of how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. My name again is Muiwa Afolabi. I am a teacher of the word, I am a business coach, and I am a social reformer. Welcome to this meeting. Tonight, I want to share with us something that I know most of us need at this time, especially Africans, young Africans, something that I know we need at this time. We need an enlightenment. We need a knowing. We need a revelation. We need an expose into so many areas of our lives, and that is how we can successfully experience that move from perhaps where we currently at to that position and that location and that situation where we will be able not just to obtain a sizable amount of wealth, but we'll be able to retain it and even multiply it, bringing about financial and economic liberation to so many people that live in the continent. Today, what I have titled this particular conversation is Knowing You, Knowing Them. Knowing you, knowing them. Knowing you, knowing them. Do you know you? What's your opinion about yourself? If I ask a question right now, who are you? You're most likely going to respond by your title or your qualification or your profession or your job or by your name and surname. Who were you before all this showed up? Your certification was after a while. You didn't come into this world certified in any field or any profession. Your academic qualification was after some years. You didn't come into this world qualified in anything. Even your marital status was after a while. You didn't come into this world with any of this. So if I am asking who you are, it is about your real identity, not the acquired identity. Who are you? What are you about? And one of the craziest problems we have as human is this identity crisis. Not knowing who we truly are and who we are as individuals is the reason why we are quick to want to take on the identity of someone else that we fancy, admire, or appreciate. But the question tonight is, who are you? And I want to take you through a process perhaps that will help you begin to think on the line of clarifying your personal identity and totally dealing with your personal identity crisis. I have a story here that I want to share with you, a true story. And I read it online, an article by Scientific America. Scientific America. And the story was about a man, right? His name is Tom Boyle. Tom Boyle Jr. And he began to share his story. It was about 8:30 p.m. in the evening, a summer evening, and himself and his wife, they parked in the truck in the in the parking lot of a restaurant where they just had dinner. And whilst the wife was actually at the driving side, and he was on the passenger seat. And suddenly a car came out from the side of that particular restaurant and was driving on speed on the main road. However, there were sparks of fire and all kinds of things, underneath the car. That was when they noticed that the car had actually run over a boy of about 18 years on his bicycle. So the boy and his bicycle were actually stuck under the car, tied to the chassis, his legs and all that. He was stuck. The boy, the bicycle were under this big car, and the car was still driving and dragging the boy and his bicycle stuck to the car, dragging the boy along the road. So when Boyle glanced up and saw the sparks of red fire flying up and down beneath the chassis of the car, immediately he jumped out of his own truck and began to pursue this particular car, dragging this boy along the road. And after a while, the car stopped. Perhaps noticing what was going on, the car stopped. And this man, this Boyle, went up to the car, and you know what he did? He lifted off this car, and the driver of the car came out also and pulled out the boy and the bicycle from underneath this car. This man Boyle lifted up this car so that this boy and his bicycle can be removed from the jam of his bike and himself to the asphalt, as well as the chassis of the car. So after the car drove, according to the story, for about 20 to 30 feet, it slowed down and stopped, and this was when the event took place. Without thinking, he went for the car, lifted it up, and this boy was rescued. Now, because of what he did, he drew a lot of media attention. The pressmen, everybody came and they began to give him a lot of credit for his attempt and his effort to rescue this guy. Though the 18-year-old boy on the bike was hurt and was bleeding and was in a lot of pain and all that, he was safe, and there was a commendation to this guy. But the lesson here is this, and that was what really amazed a lot of people. Now, this man, Boyle Jr., in terms of weight, was about 127 kg. He was a slim, slender, tall person, about 6'4", and he was about 127 kg in weight. Now, think of this. A 127 kg person in weight, according to him, the highest he has ever lifted of dead weights, something that was on the ground, dead weight, that he has ever lifted, right, is like 317 kg. That he has ever lifted. That's about 700 pounds, 317 kg of what he's ever lifted. Now, the world's record of the heaviest stuff that has ever been lifted by any human being is about 1,008 pounds. That's 457 kg. Any human being has ever lifted, maybe in a sport, weightlifting and all that. The highest, the world record, is 457 kg that any human being has ever lifted. Guess what? The car that Boyle lifted, was 1,360 kg. That's about 3,000 pounds. 1,360 kg. In his life, the highest he's ever lifted, right, is 317. That night, he lifted 1,360 kg. The world record is 457 kg. So when they asked him, how were you able to do it? He couldn't explain. Asking him to do it again, he couldn't do it. He lifted a car that was worth 1,360 in kilograms. The world record is 457 kilograms. But a man that is not a weightlifter, that is not heavy in weight, he's weighing 127 kg, lifted over 1,360 kg weight of a car. Why? In everybody, there is a reserve of potential energy. The potential energy essentially has got to do with not just your physical strength, it's got to do with your mental strength as well as your psychic, emotional strength, mental strength, and physical strength. When we find ourselves under intense pressure, right, life, nature, and perhaps fear will normally release the energy that has hitherto become inaccessible. We become, in effect, what I call superhuman. Superhuman. You begin to do things you never thought possible, things you never thought you could or will be able to do. The question again is, do you really know who you are? You have an idea what you're capable of? Listen, if God is your maker, if God truly is your maker, you are nothing less than excellent in ability, capability, and potential. If God made you, you are nothing less than excellent in your abilities, in your capabilities. Listen, you see, when you are familiar with the maker of all things, you will know that there's nothing that comes from him or from out of him that is less than the best. God is an expert in excellence. For everything he made, he pronounced very good. God is incapable of producing mediocre products or fake products or bad products. Everything he made, every human God created is an excellent version of what God is able to do, including you and I. We are excellently made. The full potential of our nature, our design, our abilities, our what you call nature is excellent and nothing less than excellent. Listen, godliness, because I remember clearly in the scripture, God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. If you're in somebody's image and somebody's likeness, you are exactly like that person. In his image, in his likeness, you are also a God. And in more than a place in the Bible, humans were referred to as gods. You are gods. You are children of the Most High. Ye are gods. Now, pay attention to this and listen very carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Godliness is not the same as purity or holiness. No. Purity is sanctification. Holiness is sinlessness, morality. Godliness, however, is manifesting your godly potential, expressing that potential that makes you a God on this earth. Godliness is being able to manifest and act as the God that you are. Godliness, being like God, being a God. God created everyone that he made on earth a God. If I'm a God and I'm making you in my image and my likeness, what I'm creating in essence is another God. Maybe not the same in the magnitude of power, but I'm just creating a small God. When a lion mates with another lion, a lioness, and they bring forth a child, that child cannot be anything else but a lion, because a lion can only beget a lion. Now, when God says this mankind that I'm going to create will be in my image, will be in my likeness, just like the cub of a lion is in the image and the likeness of the parent, if God says this Adam and Eve and all that will come from and through them is going to be in my image, is going to be in my likeness, what God is saying is that I want to create gods on earth. Meaning, you are a God. It is not a hype. It is not a motivation. It is not me trying to make you feel important. It is me revealing to you the truth of who you are potentially. Listen, what then is the challenge? God created everyone with godly potentials, superhuman potentials, but your ability to manifest the God in you is in accordance to your design. Let me say that again. God created everyone with godly potentials, superhuman potentials, but your ability to manifest it is in accordance with your design. God created gods, but each god has got its own area of godliness. So we are excellent in different areas and aspects of God the Maker. So there's something that God has got in him that he gives to me and he has put in me, which is different from what God has in him and he gave to you, and it's different from what God has in him and gave to Sister Mary, and it's different from what God has in him and he gave to Brother Michael. There are different aspects and different angles of the God the Creator in different gods that he created on earth. Hence, anytime as a God, you miss your version of God the Father, you miss your type and nature of godliness, you will never be able to manifest your godliness because you do not know and have not realized the power of your godly nature. When we look at most of the movies, what this day is talking about gods on earth. You're looking at Superman, you're looking at Batman, you're looking at Thor, you're looking at all kinds of Marvel comic characters that we see. They all have their uniqueness and their powers and their potentials and their weaknesses. Each one of them. But they're all what? Superheroes. Iron Man is not the same as Superman. And Batman is not the same as Spider-Man. They all have the various areas of their heroism. It's not the same. But the fact that a Spider-Man is not a Superman does not make a Superman a hero and a Spider-Man not to be a hero. Every one of these gods, these superheroes, as we call them, have their strengths, their potentials, their weaknesses, as well as what they're able to do. But the calling for all of them is to protect, preserve, and manage the planet. So as gods on earth, we have our areas of power. We have our uniqueness in manifestation. We have our differences in potentials and in projecting our godliness. If Spider-Man should forget the source of his power and who he is, and is trying to be a Batman, he will cease to be a superhero. Spider-Man is not Batman. Should he begin to copy, imitate, dress like Batman, want to act and be like Batman, he will fail. Because Spider-Man is a superhero as Spider-Man, not when he's copying Batman. And Superman is a hero as Superman. He cannot begin to copy Iron Man and think he will be able to function as a superhero, imitating and copying Iron Man. The problem many of us do have is that we do not understand the power of our godliness. What can be worse is that we do not even know the godliness that we carry, much less manifest it. But I assure you, I guarantee you, and I promise you today, under God, you are also a God. Let me break it down further. A hammer is a tool, and his godliness, his expertise, his excellence, according to the maker, is in nailing stuff. The power of a hammer, the potential of a hammer, the heroism of a hammer, based on the design of the manufacturer, is to nail stuff. A saw is excellent at cutting, especially wood and all that, wood saw. That's how it is designed. The God nature, the heroic nature of a saw is in cutting, not in hammering. So a saw being a saw is a superhero as a saw, not as a hammer. A brush is a hero and sought after and desirable and needed in painting needs, not to hammer and not to cut wood. So as a paintbrush, oh, it is a fantastic superhero in its world and in its class and in its category. Super. There is nothing the hammer can do. It can never be a brush. There is nothing the saw can do. It can never be a paintbrush. And a paintbrush, not knowing it is a paintbrush, can never cut wood like a saw. But each one of these various tools, as manufactured by the tool company, are created specifically and excellently for their purpose. Listen, every tool is a genius when operating in its purpose and design. Every tool is a genius when operating in its purpose and design. Now, when a saw tries to hammer, because the saw does not have an awareness of its purpose and its use, and it tries to hammer and it keeps failing, to blame the manufacturer for its failure is flawed. Many of us are trying to be what God didn't create us to be. We're praying and fasting, coveting the glory of others, disdaining our calling and glory, or not even knowing our calling and glory. And we're pressuring, being religious, fasting, praying that God should give us the reward of a hammer when we are actually paintbrushes. Because we do not realize who we are or what we are. We are lost, and we are the best tool in the wrong place. So we cannot manifest anything. We cannot release our godliness. We cannot be the best at what we're designed to be. So we are frustrated. Listen to this. Every human being, including you and I, we are geniuses when operating in our place of potential and design. If you are in your place of purpose, potential, and design, you are a genius. God does not create any human being less than being a genius. The genius in you is hidden in your personality. They are natural. They come with you. Your genius is not in your school. Your genius is not in your study. Your genius is not in how many hours you open different books. Your genius is innate. God created you as one. Read all the books in this world as a paintbrush, trying to master how a hammer works. You would always fail, because the study you're studying is not meant for you. It's for somebody else. It's not for your design. It's for somebody else. It's not for your potential. It's for somebody else. It's not for your abilities. It's for somebody else. So know it off head, cram it, know how it works. You cannot manifest it because you're not designed to manifest it. The greatest problem of many people is trying to be what they're not designed to be. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Michael Tyson all have the same name. Michael. But are superhuman in their place of natural design, talent, and gift. Michael Jackson will never be celebrated as the king of pop in a boxing ring. Michael Jordan will never be celebrated as the perhaps greatest basketballer ever if he was on stage trying to be a Michael Jackson. And I assure you, Michael Jackson will fail woefully if he wanted to be a Mike Tyson in a boxing ring. Picture Michael Jackson in boxing. Picture Michael Jackson in a boxing ring. Picture Mike Tyson on a basketball court. And picture Michael Jordan on stage trying to entertain. Michael. The greatness of the three of these Michaels is in their talent and their place of manifestation. All Americans, all African Americans, all reigning in the same generation. But what stood the three of them out is not in trying to be like any other one, but in trying to be the best of themselves, knowing their gift, talent, and potential. Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of Michael are you? Are you a Michael Jackson trying to be a Michael Tyson? You can never be global, world class, touch your generation, and impact your generation, trying to be who you're not because something binds you or ties you together. Listen to this. To put different kids in the same class, formal education, teaching the same subject and expecting every one of them to excel is the biggest flaw of the school system. When it's about knowledge and not about talent development, the system is flawed. You know why? Because you can put chickens and ducks and turkey and vulture and parrots and eagles in the same environment, coaching and teaching them how to fly and expecting each and every one of them to soar above the clouds. It is impossible. Why? Because some have it in them, some do not have it in them. No matter how much you teach that class, no matter how excellent the teacher is, I promise you, a chicken cannot soar above the clouds. Does it remove anything from being a chicken? No, a chicken is not designed to soar above the clouds. Is an eagle designed to soar above the clouds? Yes, yes, and yes, so very easily. Now, to say they're all birds and they all have wings, so they all can fly above the clouds, is majorly flawed. Each bird should be treated and related with and to based on their design, their potential, their talent, and their place. It's common in Africa. In Nigeria, when I was a kid, I saw it happen. When you're rearing chickens, local chicken, you're rearing local chickens, some farmers will include the eggs of guinea fowls. Guinea fowls, it's common in Africa, with those being incubated by a mother hen. So a mother hen is trying to incubate her eggs for 21 days, and the farmer will include the eggs of guinea fowl amongst the eggs of the chicken that is to be incubated. And when the time is done, after 21 days, the chicks will hatch alongside that of the guinea fowl. And for a season, the guinea fowl would assume that the mother hen is also its mother, will follow it around, will hang out with other chicks, will do stuff with other chicks and do life with other chicks. But at a point in time, that particular guinea fowl will realize, no, there's something different about me. I don't particularly look like the rest of them. I don't particularly think like the rest of them. And I think I have some talents and gifts that this ones lack. Whether they believe it or not, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, whether they want to subscribe to my submission on this or not, I know I am different. And after a while, this guinea fowl will begin to fly at levels and magnitude that these chicks and chickens can never fly. Why? Because guinea fowls can fly, chickens cannot. The fact that mother hen hatched me does not mean I am a hen. Your environment, your family, your nurture, your upbringing can do nothing to your design, because God designed it and it's in you and it's not around you. Your greatness, your godliness is something that God has put in you, not in your environment. So it doesn't matter who your parents were. It doesn't matter who your siblings are. It doesn't matter which part of the world where you were raised. What is in you, and nothing can take it away from you. Once you realize and acknowledge the fact that you've got those things, it is basically a matter of you making a decision to fly. Perhaps the reason your life today, ladies and gentlemen, is not such a happy one. You're somewhat dissatisfied with yourself, with your job, with your relationships, and everything is simply because you're not in your place. You're not in your place of power. You're not in your place of godliness. You're not in your place of manifestation. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. A fish can never be dissatisfied with swimming. It's designed to swim 24/7. And an eagle can never be dissatisfied with soaring. If you're dissatisfied and frustrated and unhappy about your life, you're perhaps doing something you're not designed for, and your godliness is being suppressed and subjugated, and your talent is not being made manifest. You see, it is the same energy that releases passion and pressure. The energy for passion and pressure is the same thing. When you're doing what you're not designed for, it is pressure. When you're doing what you're designed for, it is passion. When you're doing what you're designed for, passion is released. When you're doing what you're not designed for, pressure is released. And the reason why many people today, especially black people, are suffering from high blood pressure is because they are indulging and doing things they are not designed for. So in 4, 5, 6 hours, doing what they're not designed for, they begin to malfunction. Their minds and their soul and their heart and their body begin to misbehave, act abnormal, because they are doing what they're not designed for. But that same person, in the place of his natural talent and design, will work 20 hours straight and not be tired. Why? Because in that place of design, passion is released, not pressure. A fish is never under pressure in the ocean or in the river. And an eagle is never under pressure in the skies. If you're under pressure, you're in the wrong place, doing the wrong thing, and you're not manifesting yourself. The decision to find yourself, ladies and gentlemen, the decision to find your place, my dear friend, the decision to become who God made you. In other words, your godliness should be a priority for you. I know a lot of people around me who hate their jobs, regardless of the pay. They're working in very good companies. When it comes to good companies, I'm talking about high-paying companies. Some in oil companies, some in telecoms, some in banking. And they are so dissatisfied. They're always grumpy, they're always sad, they're always touchy, they're never happy, and they're paid a lot of money. They have cars, they have houses, they dress well, they eat well, but they are never happy. They're not happy. Regardless of how people praise them and people envy them and people, commend their status. Oh my goodness, bank manager. Oh my goodness, all company worker. Oh my goodness, top guy in telecoms. Oh my goodness, and people admire them. They express public success. They smile and take all the compliments. Thank you very much. But inside, they are broken, they are depressed, they are unhappy, they're frustrated. Why? Because they are just a God in a territory and a place not meant for them. And the reason why so many people are yet to break away from how the world has shaped and ordered their lives is because they are afraid or sensitive to the popular opinions of men. The opinion of man, the judgment of especially people that they love and they respect. You're not happy. You're not excited. You're frustrated. When you're alone, you're in the worst of moods every day. You're doing alcohol. You can't sleep. Some jump into pornography. Some become wayward. Some escape into sports. Some escape into all sorts of things. Why? Because they're living a life of pressure, not a life of pleasure. Why? They're wrongly placed. A paintbrush trying to be a hammer. The Bible says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Find yourself. So that you can know and attest to what God's good, pleasurable, and perfect will is for you. Perfect. Anything outside of what God created you for perfectly will bring pressure and not pleasure. The word system will channel and direct your life since when you're young to end up as a professional in any field. So you learn it. and you have the knowledge of accounting, the knowledge of legal practice, the knowledge of medicine, the knowledge of pharmacy, the knowledge of engineering, which is good. So you acquire the knowledge and you learn it, and it's in your brain. But there are two ways to learn. You can learn by acquiring knowledge. You can know. There are two ways of knowing stuff. That's what I meant to say. Two ways of knowing stuff. You can know stuff by acquiring the knowledge through a classroom, by reading and all that. You can acquire knowledge by acquiring from the environment through a school. And you can also access knowledge by revelation. Revelation knowledge comes to the God in you, Christ in you, the hope of glory. To the God in you, revelation knowledge, it comes from divinity, who and what God says to you. Well, acquired knowledge comes from your environment. Acquired knowledge from the environment are facts. Revelation knowledge is the truth. Facts are temporary and they're transient. What's a fact yesterday may fail and cease to be a fact today because things have changed. The environment has changed. But a truth is eternal. A truth is a revelation that comes from above. And it is never subject to circumstances or situations. Now, classroom knowledge can teach you so much about the environment, about waves and all that in physics you acquire from the class. It takes revelation to invent the internet. It takes revelation, something not in books, for you to invent the internet. That knowledge of invention is revelation. It does not come from a classroom. How to manufacture a phone, a GSM phone device. It takes revelation knowledge by the inventor to bring forth something that had never existed in the physical world before. It takes revelation knowledge to create a rocket. It takes revelation knowledge to invent an airplane. It takes revelation knowledge to create and bring forth things that never existed in the physical world before. Because invention is always a release from divinity. You can't acquire it from around you. It comes from within you. Do you know where inventions come from? It comes from the godliness nature that you carry. Only gods invent and create. Mere men only use what gods have invented and created. The first demonstration of who God was in creativity. Let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be. To manifest your godliness, there must be in you something to create. Let there be. And you can never create or invent anything outside your place of design and godliness. To become the best of you on earth, you must accept who you really are and not subject yourself to who they are. God owns you and your life and created you. Not your father, not your mother, not your classmates, not your friends, not your colleagues, not even your spouse. God owns you. The decision, ladies and gentlemen, to find yourself, it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your 50s, is the best good you can ever do yourself on this earth. May you not end your life a successful failure. A successful failure is Michael Jackson in the boxing ring for the rest of his life. A successful failure, perhaps, is a Michael Jordan on the stage singing pop for the rest of his life. People that succeed at what they're not designed for and perhaps can pay bills and just cruise through life are successful failures. Successful failures never create, never impact, never achieve the purpose for which they were created and sent to this earth. These are successful failures. They failed successfully. The best good you can do yourself is to stop and say, wait a minute. All these people that I'm trying to impress, that I'm trying to live for, that I'm trying to make them accept me the way they want me to be, not the way I truly am. What reward have they got for me at the end of my life? Are they my God? No. Did they create me? No. Did they design me? No. Why do I owe them a lifestyle that is not me? The best decision you can ever make now is to step out of that frustrating profession, that frustrating lifestyle, and step into your originality. Examples, I'll tell you. You're by nature a fashion designer. You see every cloth on everybody and you can improve it in your head. I can combine colors, I can combine patterns, I can come up with this. It's just flowing in you. Every kind of outfit, on men, on women, every kind of combination. The hat, the shoes, the blouse, the skirt, the pants, the jacket. You see it and you see something you can do different with it. Every time it's flowing and bubbling in your spirit. But you can't handle the reaction of your friends and family to quit that very lucrative bank job and go into designing clothes. Oh, my parents spent so much sending me to the university to study banking and finance. And to be a banker is more prestigious than being a tailor. So every single day in your spirit, your godliness is running like a program. Create this, and be one of the greatest designers on earth. A label everybody wants to wear. And let your wealth come forth from the place of your godliness. But you ignore it because of the people around you that you want to impress. Because your locus of control is external, not internal. You're more inclined to do what people want you to do instead of what you are designed to do. So you live your life being a banker. Then at 60, 65, you sit down at retirement and you have the worst form of regret. Because you've only lived your life to impress people. You never lived for yourself or your maker. And the wealth your maker reserved for you to release to you once you begin to function in what he purposed you for, you never accessed it. So you struggled and are now scrambling to see how you can still take care of your bills at that time because you are not a wealthy person. So you're waiting for the government pension. You're waiting for your child to send this and that to you so you can pay your medical bills and pay for your food and take care of yourself. Because you worked so hard using your energy for the wrong thing at the wrong place to impress the wrong people for a long time. Oh, what a mess. Your wealth is tied to your godliness, not your labor. The wealthiest people on earth are people that manifested their excellence through their godliness. Michael Jackson, wealthy. Michael Jordan, wealthy. Mike Tyson, wealthy. Are they professors? No. How many certifications and qualifications do they have? I don't know. But their design, their superheroic tendencies, their godly design made them rule their world as one of the gods on earth. And they took something that God had in him, the gift and talents, God gave it. The Bible says, and Jesus was talking about a man that was going on a journey, a wealthy man. And he gave to his 3 servants. He gave unto one 5 talents. He gave unto one 2 talents. He gave unto one 1 talent. And he says, go and profit with all. Occupy till I come. And the man that was talented in 5 different ways used the 5 talents to acquire wealth. Massive wealth. And the man that was talented in 2 ways used his 2 talents and acquired wealth as return to the master. And the man that had only 1 talent that he could use to acquire so much wealth, he didn't do that. He buried it under rumor and popular opinion that the master was a criminal. He wasn't fair. You know, when you blame God for things that are going on earth, if God is kind, why are people dying? If God is kind, why are there wars? If God is kind, why is there famine? If God is kind, where is there tsunami? He must be a wicked God. So the godliness in you never manifest. You took the talent and buried perhaps in paid employment. So upon the return, I gave you talents. You are talented. 5, you're talented. 2, this is the wealth that I created. This is the wealth I created. Are you talented? The gift of a man makes way for him on earth, not his qualifications and certifications. Brings him before kings and not mere men. Listen to me. Your wealth is tied to your godliness. Your godliness is made manifest through your talent and your design. What is your natural talent and your natural gift? I studied management. Marketing management is my expertise, brand management. My profession is basically building businesses from start to finish. For different people, that's my profession. But my gift is in teaching. My godliness is in teaching. I teach. I've been teaching since I was 16 years old. I don't get tired of teaching. 8 hours straight I'm teaching. And I didn't go to a teacher training school. No one taught me or trained me on how to teach. My knowledge of teaching is by revelation, not by accusation. And it is one thing I can do without much ado for the rest of my life. In fact, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And with the wealth coming from here, I'm establishing different things. I'm making different investments. And I'm creating wealth through what? One of my gifts, teaching. And over the years, I've made hundreds of millions teaching. And some teachers have labored for years and are still broke. Are they by nature teachers, or they took it as a profession? I can't be an architect. I can never be a doctor. I can't be a pharmacist. I can't be an engineer. Put me in any of those fields, I'll fail woefully, because I'm not designed for those kind of spaces on earth. A natural engineer will excel. A natural doctor will excel. I'm a natural teacher. That means my teaching ability is God-given, not classroom acquired. So I'm not under pressure. In fact, it's a pleasure. People around you want you to live your life the way they wish you to be, not the way you really are. And because you love those people and respect those people, you want to offend them. Then you offend yourself. You sin against yourself and you sin against God because you don't want to offend people. People can't handle you rising above how far they think you can go in life. Many people have a summary, either consciously or unconsciously, of your life. They'll just summarize it and say, the best this person can be is here and here and here. Once you begin to move and break those limits that they have set on your life, they become uncomfortable and they begin to discourage you. Take it easy, slow down. Are you the only one? And every day they spew negativity. They discourage you. They cast aspersions and they pour a lot of negative energy into your efforts because they cannot see you being better than how they want you to be in life. And these are people you love and respect. People generally don't like it when you don't conform to what makes them comfortable with you. So as long as he comes to me for handouts every now and again, as long as I'm the one signing his checks for him to be alive and well, as long as his life depends on me and is tied to me, I love him. He's a good guy. He's wonderful. He's awesome. As long as he's eating from my hands. The day you stop eating from their hands and you also rise to that place where other people can be blessed through you, they begin to see everything wrong with you. Can you imagine? He's so proud. See the way he's walking. See the way he's talking. See how insolent he is. He's such an ungrateful person. They begin to see everything wrong with you, and hitherto you were such a perfect person when they were the ones supporting your life. That's how familiar people are. Many of them. When your life eventually turns out to be a disaster because you don't want to hurt, offend, or displease those people in and around your life that you love and you respect, when your life eventually turns out a disaster, the blood pressure takes out your health and you're sick at 50 and you have to leave your job and you can't take care of yourself, all these people will stand aloof and say, what are you thinking of? What are you thinking about as young as you are? Why are you worried? What's distressing you? And they will never help you. Dear friend, my challenge and charge to you tonight is for you to do you. Do you. No matter how hard or tough it is, make sure you do you. When you see a crowd going in a particular direction, be careful. Narrow is the way that leads to your godliness. Narrow is the way. It's better to be alone now and end up a success in life than to be popular and flow with the crowd and end up a failure in life. Your later years must be better than your current years. And it's in the decision and choices you make today to leave the popular and the familiar and stand in the place of your godliness, your talent, and your gift. Know you, dear friend. Master you. Develop you. Become excellent at being you. And make your money and create your wealth. Godly wealth only comes to you in your place of purpose and destiny. Nowhere else. Every wealth that comes to you outside of your purpose and destiny is acquired by labor. The curse on the ground in the Garden of Eden. Cursed be the ground because of you. To release wealth to you, you will labor and you sweat from the sweat of your brow. If you buy a car, if you build a house, if you survive and you train your children through school, outside of your place of design and purpose is by labor. It's a curse. But when you are in your place of godliness, of destiny, and of purpose, God supplies abundantly unto overflowing, full measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because God did not design any one of us to be blessed. He designed us to be blessed and to be a blessing. If you live through this era and this generation and all your life you are blessed but not a blessing, you are failed in purpose. You must eventually be a blessing. That's God's plan and his heart desire. Know you, master you, develop you, become excellent at being you. Make your money attract your godly wealth. Touch your world. Be your best Michael, Tyson, Jackson, or Jordan. Be your best at being you, ladies and gentlemen. As I close, just a quick reminder. Doing what we're doing, touching lives, being a blessing. The Commonwealth Financial Support Scheme that will help you preserve and even multiply the value of your funds for up to 300% in record time is available. Like I said, it is not an investment scheme and it is not a loan facility. We're just helping people in these very tough and challenging times economically, high and soaring prices of goods and services, as well as crazy exchange rate. Things are difficult. So we are here to help and support you. Not through an investment scheme, not through a loan facility, but through a partnership. You don't have to be a victim of these hard times or be afraid of your future financial requirements. For inquiries on how this works, simply send the word Commonwealth, via WhatsApp to 0802 569 6670, 0802 569 6670, and we'll share with you the details of how it works. Very many thanks for your time and attention tonight. Muyiwa Afolabi is my name. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.